Guys, what is going on? Back with another Arbitrum ecosystem update. Your boy Hunter. As usual, nothing in this video is financial advice, and everything I do say is my opinion alone. Today's episode is going to be a little different. I'm going to talk probably strictly about this proposal here made by Ryan Wyatt, who currently works at the, I think, Optimism Labs or Optimism Foundation, one of the two. I'll read the post, and then we'll talk about it. Judging by the title of the video, you probably already know what's going on. So Ryan Wyatt says, I'm excited to share the Optimism proposal for Treasure DAO to move to the superchain and leverage the OP stack. This partnership would make Treasure Chain part of a network of interoperable layer 2s and one of many steps we will continue to make in gaming. This essentially was posted by Ryan Wyatt last night around 7:44 p.m. exactly. And has been like pretty much since last night has been like the topic of conversation if you are currently within the Arbitrum ecosystem. For a little bit of background, Treasure DAO is essentially a decentralized gaming console is kind of how they market themselves, but they're essentially a gaming project that migrated over to Arbitrum back in 2021. This started off as like a loot derivative. They created Small Brains, which is like, if you don't already know, like my PFP of literally this YouTube channel is of a small brain. They made Bridge World and are very slowly starting to craft out Smallville, which is essentially a game based off of the Small Brains. All that to say that they're essentially, besides those core games that they do have, an entire ecosystem of projects, which includes some of the biggest games that are on Arbitrum today. So essentially what Ryan here is trying to say is saying, hey, Treasure, we want you guys to build what you're building over on an Optimism chain. Make your own Optimism chain, and you can build with the rest of the super chain ecosystem, right? Treasure has been thinking about doing a chain actually for quite some time. For those of you who don't know, they way back when we're talking about a Cosmos-based chain. It was like a long time ago. I remember like thinking to myself, I'm like, why would you bridge to Arbitrum and then make your own Cosmos chain? I don't get it. And then obviously as time went on, the bond within the Arbitrum ecosystem and the Treasure ecosystem grew a lot tighter. So for a little while, it seemed like an Arbitrum Orbit chain was kind of programmed, essentially, like their own Arbitrum-based tech stack. They can leverage and do whatever they want with it. Obviously, as of this proposal last night, there's been a ton of commotion from the community saying, hey, like, what's going on? Are we moving to OP? Hey, maybe Arbitrum should say something. Like, why isn't there any love coming from Arbitrum? Blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And I think, I put out a post, and I literally just put this out like a couple minutes ago. That's why it's still fresh in my head. I put out a post and said essentially to me that, like I said, a couple things. I don't want to read the entire thing. Obviously, the link is in the description, so you can see it. That Treasure to me is essentially Arbitrum. For a long time, Treasure and GMX actually were essentially the face of Arbitrum. No one knew what Arbitrum was, but they knew what Treasure and they knew what GMX was. Right, the two different apps, two completely different apps. Right, GMX is like leverage trading. Treasure is essentially like a game, an NFT project. Like Treasure is like it's ephemeral, or essentially, it's like Treasure is. That's why we call it the Treasure ecosystem because there's so many things that they cover. But usually, it was one of the things that I referred to as like this is like a flagship of Arbitrum, pretty much. Right. Today, I would still say the same thing, and I think more so that, moving to a different chain just because someone put up a proposal. And by the way, I'm not saying that they are. This is just a proposal that was put out. Carell and the other guys haven't officially said anything in all reality. They are posting, like a light paper soon on which chain they will be choosing next week. So fingers crossed. But what I'm trying to say is that, I think obviously because someone put up a proposal doesn't mean that it's an automatic thing that, okay, now we have to move, or like, okay, like now we need other people to submit proposals, right? I think it's like something that the Treasure community now, it's a lot different than it was back then. Obviously some people have stayed, some people are new. So I think a lot of people don't have context on like the history of Treasure and Arbitrum, but I think history aside, like Treasure has a very very big impact today on Arbitrum, not only within the DAO as the biggest delegates and as the only people driving gaming within the DAO, but also as like this literally like the representation of Web3 gaming. And that, I mentioned in this post, from a technical perspective, an Orbit chain is the only way to go, right? If you want Magic as the native token, if you want fully functioning on-chain governance that people that hold Magic can participate in, if you want to onboard game developers from Web 2, using like the stylus upgrade that will be coming to Arbitrum chains in a little while, allowing them to code in like Rust, C, C++. I'm going to mention a couple of other things, but even with those three things alone is only possible in an Arbitrum orbit chain, right? So, and this is the kind of audience that I think that they're trying to go after, right? You can go after Web3 degens with any chain. In all reality, you can do it with any chain, right? But if you're trying to make a very specific product for a very specific audience, which I think they are, trying to onboard the masses, you need to do it with technology that like doesn't just quote unquote do the job. You got to do it with technology that actually helps you achieve what you're trying to achieve. I'll list off the rest of this stuff because it is pretty cool. Potential cross-chain interoperability with chain clusters, as well as espresso systems. I think if, for example, if they were to go with the OP stack, they're essentially siloed to whatever they want to do. And you need to essentially comply with whatever, things that they want you to comply with to be part of that super chain narrative. And then even then, the super chain isn't even a thing yet. Frankly, I think that they're going to end up using espresso systems no matter what. So it's just a bunch of marketing jargon, unfortunately. And then lastly, I mentioned it a little bit, but I'll bring it up again because it is really important. Is they can leverage the Arbitrum DAO's budget and educate on why funding gaming teams or initiatives are important. Today, and for a while now, Arbitrum has been only known for its DeFi ecosystem. And as amazing as that is, people need to know it for more than just that. And Treasure is one of the biggest leaders in Arbitrum, generally speaking, but also in gaming. So literally, while I'm sure, and I put it in this post here too, while navigating, a DAO as decentralized as the Arbitrum DAO is, and having to take in thoughts from other people and essentially play a politic game, playing this politics game, as annoying as all that is, it really only benefits them, the Arbitrum ecosystem, and broader gaming in general for them to do this. The Arbitrum DAO is the biggest DAO in crypto, literally big by far. I think it's 7 billion total value locked in that DAO. That's how much they control as a DAO. And Treasure is one of the biggest delegates. So even if we don't care about the tech, even if we don't care about the community that's been built over the past 2.5 years, even if they didn't care about any of that, if you think about it from a return perspective, 7.5, they have a majority ownership. I'm pretty sure they do. I could check again, but they have a very, very large ownership over that funding. I'm not saying they can just start passing proposals like it's nothing, because obviously they can't, right? There's other people that can come in and chime in and vote against or vote for things, but they are in the best position out of anyone to push for gaming, Web3 gaming, and have that Web3 gaming happen on Arbitrum or happen on Treasure Chain. You know what I mean? I think it's very easy to lose sight of what's already in front of you. And I think Carell actually put it great the other night because he did go on a live stream on a Twitter Spaces last night too, and mentioned it. But the grass will always feel greener on the other side, right? If you're on one end and you see someone else, we have this, we can offer you this. It's it'll always feel like you're missing out on something because you don't have that thing, right? But in all reality, you could be thinking that, but you already have everything you need plus more. Where you're already at. So I don't know. I'm coming from a very biased point of view. Obviously, I've had small brains since they essentially came out. Working here at Offchain Labs, of course, very deep ties with the Treasure community and the team. I said it in the post too, and I'll say it again. I think that no matter where they go, they'll be successful. They're an amazing team and extremely creative. But I do hope that they make the decision to stay on Arbitrum. I think they will, to be honest. I think they will. But I figure, might as well put up my thoughts there, kind of give you guys what I'm thinking here. And for those of you who don't know, by the way, and I realize this isn't the same audience as crypto Twitter. So this post is hitting the people that I want it to hit. This video probably won't necessarily, but nonetheless, we'll see. Gaming is going to be very, very big this year. I'm planning on doing, it's funny because when I first came, DeFi was the biggest thing, right? But now gaming is kind of taking over. And I anticipate that I'll be doing a lot more gaming related community stuff this year. I don't know what, but hopefully anything to take me off that Call of Duty, because I low key still be playing that like almost every night. I'm not gonna lie, like quick little hour of like, first person action. I don't know. I'm addicted to it. Anyways, that being said, as usual, to end off the episode, if you're interested in a community focused show dedicated to showcasing entrepreneurs in Web3 and telling their stories, feel free to check out Beneath the Layers. I am the host of this show. You can find the episodes on YouTube, X, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Yeah, that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and catch you on the next one. All right, peace out.